Hey, folks. All right. So it's the end of the business day, and I am just going to leave the office now and start heading home. And I posted information recently on my new book, Black Truths Healing 500 Years of Colonial Lies. I just want to give you my why for writing this book because for those who know me as a writer, they know it's a departure from what I would normally write about, mostly Christian, straight up Christian literature is my forte. Now I have written this book, Black Truths, Healing 500 Years of Colonial Lies. And so the question is, why that departure? Why did I move from what I would normally write? And I just thought I should give you the why. Now, it really happened for me about 4 or 5 years ago. I have preached the gospel for maybe 16 years, done a lot of television, different things, and yes, as a black man in Canada, I have experienced racism, anti-black racism, overtly, but mostly, as you know, we do it here real well. We do it covertly. Okay. But about 5 years ago, a shift began to happen because prior to that, I thought, well, I preach the gospel. The gospel is about the good news. And if I can do it effectively, then I can effect change by dispensing truth from the perspective of God and believing that obviously as it touches people's hearts, whether they're black, white, doesn't matter, it transforms their hearts and aligns them with the thinking of God. Okay. So that was my thinking. I figured, we have friends who have been champions in the anti-black racism movement in Canada and overseas. And we thought, okay, we're all called to do different things. We'll just let them continue to do what they're passionate about. And Naomi and I, we would just continue preaching the gospel. Well, we did that. We've done that effectively for years. But like I said, several years ago, it just got to a point where I really came to the realization. This is at the time I was pursuing my master's degree in education. I wanted a master's degree in education, not a master's degree in theology, because I wanted to be able to have these relevant conversations and to be able to enter the dominant discourse that most people are familiar with, in the hopes that, of course, we would be able to make a contribution in the way that we've done in the Christian arena for some time. So anyhow, as I went through getting that master's degree, it was about the same time that not the last election in the United States, but the one before where President Trump was running. There was a lot of confusion. George Floyd was murdered. And I realized at that point that I couldn't just be preaching the gospel anymore. I had to include this because at the end of the day, the God that we preach about is a God of justice, is a God of love. He would not stand by and watch George Floyd get killed. He wouldn't stand idly by and see how people with my skin color have been treated so poorly all of these years. And so I really started digging prayerfully, looking, searching, wanting to be injected into the dominant narrative in such a way that would make a real difference in the lives of black people. Because my wife and I saw our children discriminated against. We've experienced racism firsthand ourselves. We run a multi-million-dollar company, but I still get into boardrooms and people expect from my boss to walk in after me. And so I started thinking, well, how do we really change this? Where is the problem? Okay. What gives someone in 2020 the audacity in broad daylight to place their knee on the neck of a handcuffed black man with one hand in his pocket so nonchalantly until this man couldn't breathe anymore and died? Like, what gives someone that audacity? I've even had pastors within the Christian circle. I had one of them talk about how they were so thrilled that during the Olympics that happened in Japan, they were not allowing for black swimmers to wear the caps that they needed to wear to hold their hair together to be able to swim. They were not thrilled that they were thrilled that Japan was not allowing for any kind of protests to highlight anti-black racism in the world. And this is a white pastor had the audacity to go on Facebook and to basically express their enthusiasm for what Japan was doing. And I'm thinking, which Bible do you read? What gives you the audacity to express such a position? I'm thinking, do you have any idea what black folk have had to endure, not only today, but for 500 years? Generations upon generations. And looking at how resilient we have been as a people, how successful we are as a people, the great things that we're doing, not just here in Canada, but all over the world as a people. And I'm thinking, have you been down to the continent of Africa in recent times to see, listen, forget these things that you see, children, malnutrition happening. These are folks, for the most part, who are just looking for excuses to get donations and to steal from people in the world. Let me tell you something. There is something powerful happening on the continent of Africa and in the lives of black folk all over the world. That's why Naomi and I decided to make a huge jump. We've made some massive investments on the continent of Africa. We're going to be sharing some of that stuff with you guys in the next little while, because we are not just talking about the black renaissance that is happening already in the world. We are living it. We've seen it. We're seeing what is happening. This, folks, is our time. It's a time for black people in the world to rise up and take their rightful place in this world. Not in a way that causes any kind of problem or confusion. I don't need that. Okay, listen, I just want to be left alone to exercise my intellect and my power in this world. That's all black people need. If this is all we have, you will see what black people are really made of and what we can do in this world. So I wrote this book to begin to help to break the bondages, especially of the psychological warfare that has been leveled against black people for nearly 500 years. Now, yes, there was the period of slavery, which I'll be talking about some more later on, the period of slavery that occurred. But that was as gruesome, as inhumane, as demonic and devilish as that was. Let me tell you something, folks. The psychological warfare that has been waged against black people for hundreds of years, this warfare continues even today. And the reason it is so dangerous is because it is done in secret. It is done surreptitiously. It is done in, it's clandestine. So it is impacting Black lives all over the world. But the thing is, most people don't even realize it. I was invited into to speak. It was 2 years ago to be a guest on a program that was hosted here in Canada, speaking about Black History Month. It was a February 2 years ago, and the host was arguing with me that racism, anti-Black racism, does not exist in Canada. Can you believe this? In 2020, at the height of the all of the pain that we were suffering as a result of the murder of George Floyd and all the other Black people that were murdered mercilessly all over the world, especially in the United States, she really thought in her heart that racism does not exist in Canada. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, folks, Naomi and I just could not sit in the sidelines anymore. Even though we were preaching the good news, the gospel, it became really important that to be able to fully represent the God of mercy and love and grace that we serve, we had to get into this fight. That's why I wrote that book, Black Truths, Healing 500 Years of Colonial Lies. Look for it, read it. There are truths in there that I guarantee you will not find in any book anywhere in the world. I guarantee you that. But more is coming. Stay tuned. Read the book. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Folks, listen, this is our time. And I promise you this. We are unstoppable. Nothing can stop us. Not this time. Not this time. God bless you.